Hi everyone, my name is Robert Parks. I'm a high school teacher in Lake Elsinore, California. I've been teaching for just over 20 years now, and I ran a presentation and breakout session today about our engineering academy. I ran out of time and I realized not everybody could be there, so I thought I'd give you guys a little, I don't know, video to kind of walk you through some of what we do, and maybe it'll give you some ideas to help you figure out some cool stuff to do at your schools. So I've been teaching for 21 years. I've been at the same high school since day one. It's in Lake Elsinore. We're about halfway between Los Angeles and San Diego. I've got a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from Cal Poly Pomona and a master's degree in CAD CAM engineering from Northern Arizona. So I got a decent background in all this stuff. Before I was a teacher, I worked as a race team engineer for Yoshimura R&D and American Suzuki. So I worked on motorcycle race teams for quite a while. Now, after teaching engineering and developing a program, we were rolling along pretty good. Like, I felt like we were teaching kids good stuff. We were helping them find careers, but I just felt like we weren't giving them the full array of tools at their disposal. So I learned about the school within a school model, which is basically what we're going to do as an academy. So looking back, I realized I needed what they were taking from math and science to kind of feed to engineering and manufacturing a little better. I also wanted to make sure they were getting good teachers who would push them hard and instill really good discipline in them for how to properly work through math and science problems. And with that, I figured they'd be better prepared when they do go on to college. I needed to better coordinate like my CTE pathway. Prior to this, I had 4 different levels of classes, but in a level 1 class, I could have freshmen to seniors and so on and so forth. And that didn't really make for a clean flow for like my projects and what they were learning. So I wanted to help that out. I wanted to help make sure and encourage my kids to do better in all their classes. Like, they were always doing good in my class, but could I help them to do better in their other classes? And then if I could get them all kind of grouped together, freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors, I thought I'd have a more consistent, well-planned like support system in place to help them figure out what they want to do when they leave our school. The program would also help me kind of coordinate and give them an excuse to go on some cool field trips to excite our kids and motivate them. And the thing I've learned over the years, most of all, this whole school within a school thing creates a real sense of family. So if you think about it, I know you guys all have kids that eat lunch with you all the time. They're the ones who are talking to you about everything in their life. You're a parent at school for them. Now just imagine extending that throughout multiple classes. That's kind of our goal with this whole school within a school academy model. Now, our structure works for us. You might have to change it up if you want to do this. I know, some freshman years are really dictated and your school won't give you a lot of leeway. So there's plenty to mess around with and change. But in our case, we're a 4-year program that starts in their 9th grade. We're going to have 2 cohorts or groups. And each group is labeled Advanced Studies and College Prep. And on the next slide, I'll show you their classes they take. There's not a lot of difference. The advanced kids are basically a year ahead in math, and they take honors science classes. Now, since math and science is so big with any engineering, and by any engineering, I mean mechanical engineering, aerospace engineering, being a machinist, being a CNC programmer, math is a big deal and so is science. We require our kids to take 4 years of math and science. Maybe you don't need to do that. Maybe you make a change, but in our case, to be competitive, our kids need 4 years of math and science. And those became specific engineering academy courses. Our school also requires, and our district requires, our kids take 1 semester of a health class. So what we did is we expanded on that. They take health, but it's also combined with workplace safety. So we created a health and workplace safety class, and it's actually taught by my wife, who's a health teacher. And it's like an OSHA class, and gives them a little extra stuff that I don't need to cover, and they get it from her. And later on down the line, we added 2 technical English classes for English. Here's what it looks like. This is kind of our flow chart. Anything you see in blue, that is quote unquote an official academy class. Ideally, these classes are 100% engineering academy kids. We don't want kids from outside in there. it throws off the focus, and then I don't want admin or counselors to throw kids in there who are going to kind of mess up my vibe. So everything in blue is an academy class. Now we started out, it used to just be Algebra 1 and Geometry. We made Algebra 1 for engineers and Geometry for engineers. And essentially it was just a play to give us more control of who's in the class. You could simply leave yours as Algebra 1, but have that, set aside as your academy kids only. Those are our 4 years of science classes we take, and you can see towards the bottom, that's our engineering pathway. We have design, robotics, CAD/CAM, and advanced CAD/CAM. Now that English 9 and expository reading and writing, those are our technical English classes we added later. Looking down at the bottom, the advanced kids, it's pretty much the same. They just take honors science classes, and they're 1 year ahead in their math. So other than that, there's no difference. Each one of those groups has 32 kids because that's my maximum, so we cap it at 32. If yours is a different number, you just change the number. Now, when you get on this road and you're like, all right, we're going to have a quote academy. What the heck does that mean? Well, they're going to be grouped together in classes, which is a big plus. But one of the things you're going to need to work on is cross-curricular projects. You got to tie in math, science, and engineering, which isn't that hard, especially if you recruit active, involved, excited teachers. Your first year, I recommend you only start with ninth graders. Just have your first class. They're your ninth graders. They're going to come in. They're going to be your academy kids. And then you just build each year until the fourth year you're full. Your first year, I would recommend 2, maybe 3 cross-curricular projects. You're going to have to set aside time for planning. You're going to have to work with your math and science teacher. You're going to have to get creative. And every year, refine it and add more. Our first one we do is the CO2 race cars. So they look like that. It's Pinewood Derby on steroids. You shove a CO2 cylinder in the back, they race down a 60-foot track. I work with our math and conceptual physics and biology classes to really make this happen for our ninth graders. We just add more projects, and I'll get a little into detail on this. You're going to need to set aside planning. You can't just say, this is what we're doing, because honestly, your math and science teacher might not really know the connections. In your head, you may see the clear connection that this race car has with physics, but your physics teacher might not. They might not be the most mechanical person. They might not be a car guy or whatever. So you're going to need to sit down and really plan this out. A lot of your funds will let you have release time to do that, so you could take days off. If you have PLC time, you can do it then. Here's how our CO2 car races work. We only do it for 9th and 10th graders. The 9th graders have conceptual physics. So our conceptual physics teacher, we start about a month before the races, and they start learning about kinetic energy, drag, frictional losses. They learn how to calculate acceleration. They learn how to calculate average speed. They learn how to convert units. He's since added a bunch more things in there. We actually bought, it's a cheap, not that accurate radar gun, so we can radar gun their cars. He wants to get some sort of accelerometer. But, I mean, there's a lot of connections with physics. So we start that about a month ahead of time. In their bio classes, bio I struggle with. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not a bio guy. But since it's made out of wood, our teacher uses it to talk about resource management, environmental engineering, renewable materials, the ecosystems for balsa wood, things like that, because, I don't know, we were kind of struggling, like, how the heck do we connect this? And that seemed to work, and the kids like it, so it does work pretty well. The math classes, what you're going to need is your science teacher, especially your physics teacher, to share what they're calculating. They're going to need to kind of powwow together, and we've ended up making a workbook full of different examples for cars, and that the kids just apply algebra standards to solve problems for cars accelerating. Since all our freshmen take that health and workplace safety class, what we do is we add on to that, like what connects with racing cars? Well, concussions, traumatic brain injuries, car crashes, those all have to do with racing cars. And then we have a guest speaker come in from the Highway Patrol. And again, we start this like a month out from the races. In my class, I teach all the engineering classes. They design their car in SolidWorks. There's a bunch of rules that go along with it. They have to learn how to deal with all the rules. They actually do a very simple flow analysis of it because I want them to be exposed to it. Is it great? No, it doesn't need to be. They just need to start learning about it. And then they actually produce their cars in my class. We've upped our game now. We bought a CNC router, and the sophomores, because the freshmen don't do anything with Mastercam, the sophomores actually machine their cars. So the freshmen hand cut them and they're hand sanded and things like that. They use some power tools, but the sophomores actually machine them. So that adds a different component. Later on, because this kind of, the whole car race theme bleeds through all of our grade levels, our junior year, our kids are taking chemistry. Well, about a month out, our chemistry teachers start talking about gasoline, alcohol, and nitromethane, since those are the three most common fuels used in drag racing. Our track is 60 foot. We get it from like a company named Pittsco, and it works just like drag races. The kids qualify. We run them down the track. They get a time, and then I seed them just like in brackets, and we race. We go through eliminations, and we end up with an overall winner. The sophomores and freshmen are required to do this. It's optional for the juniors and seniors. And then the whole kind of culminating, yay, we're done with our racing unit, is we go to the NHRA races at Pomona Speedway. It's like an hour and a half from our school, which is an awesome field trip day. We just go watch cars race. So that's an example. We also do balsa wood bridges. We do cardboard boats. We do catapults. We do all sorts of things. We've just added a lot to it. And don't stress, your first year, do two things. And they don't need to be as fancy as this. You could do design competitions, all sorts of things. But I would say your first year, just try to have 2 cross-curricular projects per year per grade level. Oops, I think I went the wrong way. Oh, no, I'm the right way. So here's some key ingredients. So below, that's a picture. That's my shop. We're solid. We're respectable, but I'm no different than a lot of you guys. I don't know if I covered it. I'm a normal comprehensive high school. We are not a magnet school, a charter school, anything like that. We're just a regular high school. So some key ingredients I would recommend that you have in your program. Field trips. All right. We go to colleges. Start taking your kids on college tours immediately. Try to at least go to 1 a year, ideally 2, even their freshman year. It motivates your freshmen. I learned that the sooner I get a freshman on a college campus, the sooner I can tell them, guys, this is why we want A's and B's. This is why we're working hard. You want to come to Cal Poly and build formula cars? Well, you can't get me C's. You got to get me A's and B's. They start to get excited. They go home, Mom, I want to go to Cal Poly Pomona. I want to go to Cal State Fullerton. I got to take these classes. I got to do good. And of course, when you take the upperclassmen, it just further stokes the fire to them. Oh, I want to go here. It really gets them thinking. If you can, we dedicate certain lessons and lectures on college. Our school has Wednesdays a minimum day. My periods are only like 40 minutes long, so we don't even bother working in the shop. It's not useful. First semester, every Wednesday, I talk to every grade level, freshmen to seniors, about a college, or 2 colleges actually. We talk about one that's in state and one that's out of state. And I have a just quick presentation on it, like 5-6 slides, facts and figures about the school, what kind of majors they have, what they're good at, what kind of grades you need to get in. It just gets them thinking, oh, I have suspicious activity. Sorry, that wasn't supposed to pop up. And then second semester, I pivot to talk about scholarships. And the reason is, by the time you hit second semester, all your college applications are already done, so you're wasting your time talking to your seniors about it. It also works good for me to bring in guest speakers. We bring in guest speakers from all the armed services, from the Coast Guard, to talk to our kids. You might want to throw that stuff in. I feel like it's a key ingredient. Don't be afraid to bring in military, tech schools, community colleges. And again, you're going to tell parents this is what you do. Parents don't, they may not know a lot about this stuff, and you teaching their kid is going to be a big sales pitch to them. Another one is go on as many business trips as you can. I've talked to people in the past, and it almost seems like they're afraid to ask, what's the worst that's going to happen? They're going to tell you no. A thing that might help you is find out if your district has vans. You can get like checked out and clearance to drive one of the vans. A lot of the sports teams do it. I just got approved to drive one. And you can take 9 kids. Most companies, if you ask them, hey, can I bring a group of 9 kids and a teacher, myself, to learn about your business, etc., they're not intimidated by 9. If you ask to bring a busload, that's a little intimidating, but 9, you can do that. And I would, depending on your area, just go find stuff your kids think is cool that has to do with engineering. I'm in Southern California. There's no shortage. We go to SpaceX, we go to Intense Bicycles, big aerospace companies, the air show, a guitar company. But I'm sure you have things in your area you can go check out. And don't be afraid to ask. If you can get them to tie into their core subject, even better. One of our field trips we do for the juniors is we go tour WD-40. They're based out of San Diego. It's an hour drive for us. All my juniors take chemistry. Boom, my chemistry teacher loves doing it. So definitely add those. Again, this is a great recruiting tool. A lot of kids don't get to go on field trips anymore. Your kids will. you can take them these cool places and get them excited and motivated. I know almost all of you guys, you're getting college credit, through articulation or dual enrollment, you're earning certifications. But I feel like one area that we tend to drop the ball on is we don't publicize this enough. This is a really big deal. You should be bragging to parents about this when you're recruiting. You should be sending out emails about your kids and what they're earning, what certifications. Make sure your admin knows all this stuff. This is big deal. We're doing amazing stuff. There's some of you guys I meet at these HTEC conferences. I can't believe the certifications you guys are giving out. It's awesome. Are you reporting this to everybody? Are you bragging about it on social media? Is it on like your pamphlet you hand out? Another thing you can talk to your district about, and this takes a little bit of prodding, our district finally did it. My classes are dual enrollment and some of them are articulated. Well, our school district decided that any dual enrollment or articulated college course earns a weighted grade. So that's a big thing to throw out to your parents. Oh, my class is a weighted grade. That helps for college acceptance. That helps your GPA. So you might want to find out that is something. Make sure you emphasize that those certifications your kids are earning help for college admission. They're going to put that stuff down. They need every help, everything they can get, every feather in their cap to help them get into some of these colleges. Well, already having college credit, already having certifications might help them get in, and then it'll definitely look good on scholarship applications. This is also a huge leverage for your admin and counselors. You can use it to help direct your classes, help improve your classes, help keep people you want out of your classes. Don't be afraid to flex this muscle. People are doing amazing stuff with this. Don't be bashful about it. So let me get into some stuff about this whole school within a school thing we do. So their senior year. Now, I think you understand that they're grouped in classes. So those kids, they've been together in math, science, engineering, all 4 years, and then their health class and 2 English classes. So they're together a lot. They've built a family. So when their senior year, we know it's a big deal. I'm sure a lot of you guys do this. Make sure they're doing some sort of portfolio. In my case, we do 20 different types of CNC projects. Their portfolio is mostly made up of, it'll just go, like if you start with Titan 1, drawing of Titan 1, screenshot of the SOLIDWORKS file, screenshot of the Mastercam file with all the tool paths, picture of the completed part, inspection sheet, and that's all done in a PDF. And then they can use that anywhere. That's part of their senior year. It's an academy requirement. I also do a thing where they get a Pelican case if they complete all 20 of them. That way they can take it to an interview and show it off. It looks awesome. But another cool thing to do for your seniors, I just get a big piece, I call it a banner, but it's a big piece of butcher paper. So we put this banner across the back of my classroom, and I title on it, college acceptances, class of whatever. I put every kid's name on there. And we apply to lots of colleges. Every acceptance they get, I print out, like it's probably like the size of a 50-cent piece, their college logo. I use a glue stick and I put it next to that kid's name. If they enlist in the Army, I put the Army logo next to them. If they're going to go to, say, Northwestern Lineman College, I put the Northwestern Lineman College right next to them. It's really cool for the kids. It excites them. We celebrate it. Like we have kids clapping hands. When your admin comes in, it looks good. It's obviously good if you have school board members come in. And it's a big deal for these kids. Like they love hearing how proud we are of them. I take pictures of it and I send it out to all my staff all the time so they know here's what our kids are doing. We also do the whole mock interview thing with our seniors. It's kind of part of the academy deal where they interview 3 times a year for a quote unquote job. They interview with guys from industry, not from me. And then at the end of the year, we have a big celebration banquet. You guys are used to this. Most sports teams do an end of the year banquet. Your football team, baseball team, whatever. Well, do it too. Do it for your kids. You're going to have a group of seniors. They're graduating. They've accomplished a lot. Hold a celebration for them. Invite their parents. You can do a potluck. You can have it catered. There's so many things you can do. Make a PowerPoint. Have every kid come up. Give them some sort of award like certificate. Put their name up, where they're going to college, what they're doing next. Just something about them and a picture. What we do is we put their name, what they're doing, how long they've been in the academy. I have a picture of them, and then I ask their parents to send in a baby picture because it just looks cute. And then invite your admin to that, invite your counselor. Heck, go on and invite your superintendent. That way they see the bond you have with these kids. Some other cool stuff I've learned to do over the years. Our ninth and 10th graders, they get a Engineering Academy t-shirt. It's just blue, which are our school colors. It has our engineering logo on the front, and then we put a Haas logo on the back, just kind of, I don't know, the size of like a cell phone roughly. And that way, number one, it celebrates our academy. Number two, it pays recognition to Haas. You can do the Haas logo or the Gene Haas Foundation logo, something like that on the back. Our juniors and seniors get polo shirts. That way they look a little more professional. They're embroidered. Same idea. They got the academy logo on the front, Haas logo on the back. Both groups have to wear these to school on Tuesdays. I make it an assignment. They get graded for it. One, it's just principle of the matter. I gave you shirts. You should wear them. But it also, your kids will get noticed in the school. Everybody will see them. Hey, who are those kids? Who are they? And, you start to go, oh, that's the engineering academy. That's those engineering kids. It's really good for publicity. My seniors and juniors decided a couple of years ago, we do Fancy Fridays where they dress up. They wear dress shirts, ties, dress pants. Some of them full-blown wear, suits. It's just for fun, but they like feeling professional, so that's kind of a fun thing to do. I would recommend trying to get them to do it. If you try to force that onto them, they won't go for it as much. We also do, if you're in the Engineering Academy for 2 years, so start of their junior year, you have a 3.0 or higher, we give them varsity Letterman's patches. I got a picture of that, that they can have sewn on their Letterman's jacket. It brings notoriety to your program. The kids get excited. Kids see your logo out there. It's just celebrating them. We've also started giving them a patch for the Letterman's jacket if they earn their Haas operator cert. It's just the Haas logo, and it gets sewn on their Letterman's jacket. Again, it brings attention to your program. The kids love it. They get all excited about them. It's a bragging point. Also, make sure everything you do, put logos on it. Obviously, we're all getting money from the Gene Haas Foundation. You should have a Haas logo on everything. But maybe you're not getting money from SolidWorks and Mastercam, but they're good companies. They're supporting you. Put it on everything. Brag about it. Make sure your kids know it's special. I talked about that if you've ever seen Kung Fu Panda, and his dad, who's the goose, talks about his secret ingredient soup. And he says, for something to be special, you just have to believe it's special. So we're instilling them, this is special, because it is. We all know this stuff isn't at every school. So make sure they understand you are special. You get to learn how to run Haas machines. You get to learn to run SolidWorks. You get to learn to run Mastercam. So we kind of build that up. And then our graduating seniors also get, wow, someone is apparently trying to get into me. Our graduating seniors get a stole with the Academy logo and the Haas logo on it. If I scroll back here, you can see it right here. So it's just a black stole, has my Academy logo on this side, the Haas logo on the other. Again, it just separates your kids from the crowd, and they love it. They're not really expensive, and it's exciting for them. They're proud of that stole when they get it. If I were to give you some tips on recruiting, here's what I've learned to do over the years. Start bonding with your middle schools, especially the ones that obviously come to you. I recommend going and introducing yourself and building relationships with science teachers. They're going to be your best sources for finding kids to come into your program, unless your middle school has some sort of CTE program, and then obviously you want to go after them. Just send emails, ask, can you come by, invite them to your school. See if your Perkins funds or whatever can pay for their release day so they can come see your program. I have a video. Mine was all done on my phone just using iMovie, so definitely make yourself a good video. We host an incoming freshman parent night, so all 8th graders who might be coming to our school can come to the school. My lab's all open. I do a presentation. Welding's open. Our health academy's open. All the coaches are there to talk about their sports. So that's a good time to really build that up and get people to come in. Another trick I learned that has paid off in dividends really well is if you build relationships with those 8th grade math and science teachers, usually around January, ask them for recommended kids. Then have a form letter that you just change names on it. Put those kids' names on them, get their addresses. You probably have someone at your school that will mail it for you. Mail out to these kids. Introduce yourself. You have been recommended for acceptance into the Titan Engineering Academy. We invite you to attend our open house on this night. Here's how you apply. Kids getting something in the mail saying your child was recommended for this elite program goes a long way. So I definitely recommend doing that. And then get active on any Facebook or Instagram pages, not just your own, but on the middle schools. That way, all those parents know you exist. So I don't know, those are a few tips I can give you about recruiting. Now, as far as girls, we've built up our program. We have a lot of girls. We have 33 girls this year. It's not easy. Our first year, we only had 3. It's not easy, but you've got to work hard to try to go get them. And I recommend going to math and science classes. Now, you can even, we have kids who leave the program either from grades or they move or whatever. And like I might have openings for juniors. So if I know I have 3 openings for juniors next year, I will go to biology and advanced biology classes and talk to the teachers. And I'll say, hey, do you have any kids you would recommend for our program? Specifically, I'm looking for girls. Do you have any awesome girls? Then I will specifically invite those girls to apply. Tell them they've been recommended. Okay, that whole recommended thing goes a long way. I also recommend, if you can pull this off, start a club on campus. We have the Society of Women Engineers and Scientists. So SWE is very common in industry and common in colleges. We just add the scientists on there to get more girls. You want to get a female teacher to advise it. You'll be involved, but you want a girl running it because it should be a girl thing. If that teacher could be a math or science teacher, that's even better. But build that up a lot. And the thing is, invite the girls to come to it. That's a huge one. Once you get some girls, do specific girl activities. Do field trips just for the girls. Oh, just the girls. In our case, the girls go to UC San Diego for the day. The bottom picture is our girls who went on tour of UC San Diego. They had lunch with the UC San Diego Society of Women Engineers Club. They get their own shirts. That's why they're pink. And then the girls also earn a SWES, Society of Women Engineers and Scientists, patch for their Letterman's jacket. All that, you just want to promote the girls like crazy. Also, when you do recruiting stuff, if you go to a middle school to talk about your program and encourage kids to apply, we have to do like a field trip for them to take any of the kids, but make sure you take some girls. Number one, 8th grade girls are not going to be motivated to take your class if all they see is boys. Okay? And then if you have girls there, trust me, 8th grade boys will be motivated to take your class when they see the girls. So that helps. Those are some good ones. And then everything you can do to celebrate the girls is a big deal. So some sales pitch to give your admin, parents, and students. Okay. When I first started, we were a manufacturing program, just like you guys. Okay, we were manufacturing. But as Drew said, if you were at our keynote speaker today, manufacturing sounds dark and dirty. You know what doesn't sound dark and dirty? Engineering. And the thing is, it means a lot of different things. Emphasize that you're an engineering program. Yeah, you're doing manufacturing engineering or robotic engineering, but engineering means a lot. So emphasize that you're an engineering program. And then you want to emphasize whether it's parents, students, admin. Our goal is to prepare and encourage students to support them going straight to a 4-year for an engineering degree. That's kind of our benchmark. That's what we're shooting for. If not all kids do that because they come up with a different plan that works for them, cool, great, we're happy. They have a plan. But that's our benchmark. In our case, our goal is to get our kids to go to Cal Poly as aerospace, mechanical, or manufacturing engineers. We have ones do other stuff, but that's our goal. That's our base mark. And then brag to your parents, I'm going to help your kid figure out what he wants to do, what she wants to do. Maybe they're going to go straight to that 4-year. Maybe they need to go to a community college first to kind of figure out. Maybe you need to do that because of money. Maybe, they need to go a different route. My phrase I use a lot with parents is, we're in the business of opening doors, not closing them. Brag that you're going to give your kids or their kids tons of technical skills. They're going to. People are teaching some amazing things. And brag that what they're going to learn in your class, not only can they start a career right away, they can leave you, start learning to be a machinist and start a career. Oh, but you know what else they can do? They have the skills to work in that field part-time while they're going to college. Or all those skills are going to help them get that part-time job while they're working on that 4-year degree, which then will become an internship for some amazing company, which then becomes a career. All of us will agree. Every mechanical engineer should understand machining, right? What we're teaching, whether they become a machinist, a programmer, or an aerospace engineer with a PhD, everything we teach them applies. So brag about that. Brag about that your program opens lots of doors. And then I always tell the parents, look, I'm shooting for your kid to go to a four-year university. That being said, I will have your kids back no matter what they do as long as they have a good plan. If your kid wants to go straight to a four-year, I got them. I'm going to help them get there. If that plan includes we got to go to community college first, I got them. We're going to support that. If they want to go to a trade school, awesome. I'm going to help them find the best one, the one that's going to be the most likely to get them a job. I'm going to help them figure out what sort of certs they need. And then I brag like crazy about it. I'm a big supporter of my kids going in the military. We have a whole program designed, like what I expect of you if you want to join the military. Like we discussed the importance of the ASVAB, why it needs to be a really high score, what careers really go well with what you learned in my class, how you could use your GI Bill to pay for college. Parents love hearing that. They look at you and like, wow, this person's interested in my kids succeeding. Another sales pitch is, you hear it a lot. Some people are, especially in CTE programs, are too anti-college. I hear the phrase all the time, college isn't for everybody. I know it's not. We all know it's not. But it's a bad sales pitch, you guys, especially in high school. Maybe for senior year, we might have that discussion. But if you're talking to 8th or 9th graders and their parents, and one of the first things you say is college isn't for everybody, all that parent heard you say is my kid's not going to college. So I would avoid that. We all know that. Maybe by the time they're a senior, things haven't worked out great. Their grades are okay. They're losing some motivation. Okay, college isn't for everybody. That's where we talk about those tech schools. That's where we talk about what certs can you earn. Yes, but I would ditch that one. I would sell people on, look, my program, your program opens doors. You know, the really cool thing I like about our manufacturing and engineering programs is the material we are teaching benefits kids regardless of what they want to do. If they want to be a machinist and first run parts and then become a programmer, we're great. If they want to get a PhD in aerospace engineering, we are awesome. Everything in between, we got it. There are so many doors. Brag about that. You guys are teaching amazing stuff. It can apply to everything related to engineering and manufacturing. So don't pigeonhole yourself into any one thing. Some other ways to promote your students in your program. Hey, I know it's not fun marketing. None of us got into this because we're a marketing media person. I shouldn't have to sell my program, I know, but you do. So here's some things I do that might help you guys out. There's a couple pictures of our patches. This is what I'm talking about that goes on Letterman's jackets. Kids love it. It looks awesome. It's pretty coveted. So aside from, you guys all know, you should have Instagram, you should have Facebook, and you should be posting stuff on there all the time so that people see what you're doing. Everything, field trips, kids making things, pictures of kids winning awards, flood it. I've gotten to the point now where I actually have one junior and one senior who we actually have an engineering and robotics club on campus now. It's all my kids anyways. There's a person, one of the officer positions is club historian, and their job is to take pictures to put on Instagram. That way I don't have to remember. So make sure you're doing that. A lot of your schools are going to have things like Student of the Month, Excellence Awards, things like that. Make sure you're putting your kids in for that. I know it's a pain, it takes time, but do it. You want your kids out there. You want to promote the idea that those kids in that academy are the best. They're great kids. They're well-rounded. They're behaved. They're mature. They're driven. Get their names out there. If you don't have a Student of the Month program, hell, make your own. Make your own, Engineering Academy Student of the Month that your teachers in the program nominate and you guys vote on, and then put out an email to your whole staff. Hey, please congratulate, Elena Baldwin for being the class of 2023 November Student of the Month, and have a picture of her and send it out. That's a great way to promote your program. We also have 2 days out of the year, we have a demo day in the lab, and I open it up to all teachers to come in and learn what we're doing and make a part. Those teachers are good salesmen for your class. So the more they know about it, the better. And of course, I like my academy teachers to come in. That way they really understand what we're doing. Don't forget to get stuff on announcements. Anytime your kids do something awesome, put it on there. Especially, there's a lot of you guys who go to Skills and Project MFG and stuff. Man, make sure you're promoting that. Make sure it's all over the school. Don't be afraid to send out emails to your entire staff bragging about your kids. If you can get pictures and stuff on your school and district social media, go for it. That's even better, because some parents will be following your school district social media and they start seeing stuff from you. They're like, oh, I didn't know that was at your school. and you're, getting some involved. A lot of our design challenges are competitive, or they get ranked, graded, etc. So I invite other teachers to be the judges, and that just gets more staff involvement. The more staff on your campus that buys into what you're doing, the better. So I highly recommend that one. Now, as far as once you're rolling, and you can do it right now, you guys, it'll be helpful. I track your data. Um, Admin, and it's gotten even more so because I don't know about you guys, we got a lot of admin that are Dr. Blank, and they got, their doctorate in educational leadership or something like that. And district offices and admin love spreadsheets and graphs and things like that. So feed them some info. Every year, send like a summary at the end of the year. This is what we accomplished. I think part of the problem we get into is so many of us don't like to brag and don't like to toot our own horn. We're not tooting our horn. We're bragging for our kids. This isn't me. The kid in that picture, Kyle, I didn't get the full ride scholarship to USC. Kyle did. Okay, so remember, you're not bragging about you. You're bragging about your kids, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I would recommend report every year. How many certifications did you give? And break it out. Don't just say I gave this many certifications. Tell them exactly what your kids earned. You can, however you want to display that, display it. Make sure your admin gets it, counselors. At your district office, you've probably got some number cruncher person. Make sure they get it. I also keep track of how many students get into four-year universities. In my case, we have a 100% acceptance rate to four-year universities because I know where to send them to apply. We go after some schools that have really high acceptance rates just so that that option is on the table for that kid. They see, hey, you should go to college if you want to. You guys who are doing articulated credit or dual enrollment, tell your admin, tell your counselors, tell your parents, tell your staff, hey, this is how many units we issued this year. That's a big deal. If you want, do the math. I have in my parent presentation, I explained to the parents that your kids through my classes alone will earn 12 units of college credit through Norco College. Well, it took me a little to figure it out, but I learned at Cal Poly Pomona, this is how the cost per unit. And I just told them, I save your kids this much money if they go to Cal Poly Pomona. I got a little overly aggressive one year, and I told them how much they would save if they went to USC, private school and all. But don't be afraid to give that data. Don't be afraid to show how many. This is our graduation rate. This is our anything you can do to make your guys look good. They love that kind of stuff. You could even do stuff. I've from year to year went. This is the average grade in my freshman Algebra 1 class. And then someone on your campus can probably come up with the average grade for a non-academy, like all the classes that aren't academy. And you can say, look, hey, my kids on average are earning 5% higher in Algebra 1. And I guarantee you they will be. So data is a big deal. It also looks really good for all sorts of grants, especially big federal ones and state ones. So really be good about tracking your data. Now, if any of this sounds good, you're like, man, I could do that. This guy's just a normal school just like me. So what should I do? Yeah, it's not going to happen this year. This is going to be your planning year. So your goal will be for the following school year, you're going to have 1 or 2 groups of ninth graders. If you want to do that advanced studies and college prep, that's how I started years and years ago. That's not bad because I already had an established engineering program, so that helped. If you're kind of small or new, you might want to just start with 1. So your goal is going to be, I'm going to have 1 group of ninth graders and shoot for whatever your max is. If it's 20, 20. If it's 30, 30, whatever. Early on in the school year, you want to recruit 1 math teacher and 1 science teacher. And you want somebody, you're explain the program, explain that, you want to have, joint projects together. You want to be encouraging kids to do well, whatever you need to do. You want to recruit them. Just 1 math and 1 science teacher, whatever they're going to take as their freshman year. Something that's really helpful, try to make it so that all your kids have the same counselor. And then you get to build that relationship. In our case, our counselor, she is a huge component of my program because she handles all of my kids, and then she also handles all the welding kids. And so that's a pretty big deal. And then once you have your team, so you have a math teacher, a science teacher, you, and hopefully a counselor, set some time apart to sit down what you're going to do. Like how many kids do we want? How are we going to recruit them? Are we going to go to these schools? Again, you can use like Perkins funding and stuff to pay for these days off to do that sort of planning. My goal would then be you want to really hit up your recruiting in mid-January, like right when you get back from Christmas vacation. Before Christmas vacation, reach out, see if you can get some time to talk to some middle school people. And then when you get back from Christmas break, you're going to go visit those middle schools. During those middle schools, you want to hand out some sort of pamphlet about your program, and you want to have an open house set up. Now, if your whole school is going to do it, cool. But if not, just pick one for you. We're going to have an open house for all incoming freshmen. Then you want to really try to get your admin to buy in that ideally that math and science class are only your kids. You don't want outsiders in there. It'll throw off your groove. Sometimes it becomes a dumping ground or just a distraction. So you really want them to buy into that. Your first year, shoot for 2 cross-curricular projects, 3 if you're a little ambitious or if somebody already has some ideas. Just do 2. Do 1 first semester, 1 second semester. Make it a few weeks long. Tie in as much as you can. Have videos. Understand it's not going to be perfect, but you know what? They're doing 2 cross-curricular projects. You know how many cross-curricular projects they were probably doing before you? None. Well, you've just increased that, so you're doing good. And then each year you're going to add more or refine it, or it'll get a little bit better. And then every year I would shoot for 2, 3, maybe 4 field trips. If you can go to 1 or 2 colleges or trade schools, cool. If you can go to 1 or 2 other places, cool. Perfect. That's a great year. If your freshman got to go to 2, 3, maybe 4 field trips every year, that's a pretty dang good freshman year. That's really good. And then remember, you're just going to be building every year. Every year you're going to find new stuff to add. It's never going to be finished. And I tell everybody, you're going to be taking baby steps. Every year you're going to get a little better. So your first year, just keep it simple. Couple cross-curricular projects. We're going to try to do some field trips. I'm going to get them shirts to wear. We're going to start building this family. So I think that's kind of everything that in a nutshell. So that's my contact information. I'm by no means a guru on this. I've been doing it a while and I've made lots of mistakes. So hopefully I can tell you guys some ones not to make. And then I've had some pretty good successes. If you look on the left, that's not even all of them. Over the years we've been offering the Engineering Academy, those are the schools where either we currently have students attending or we've had students attending. It really does work. And the proudest ones, yeah, you notice I put them up there first. MIT, Caltech, Stanford, those all look great. But the ones I'm the most proud of, and you are more than capable of doing this, is you're going to get some kids who are right on the edge, who could be engineers, because you know what? That kid's really mechanical. That kid works on his own dirt bike, can fix his stuff on his own car, likes making things, but isn't sure if he can be an engineer. That kid, some of those ones I'm really proud of, if you look on the left side, the ones that are going to like Cal Poly Pomona, Southern Utah University, Utah Tech, Montana State, those aren't, that's not MIT, no, but you know what? Those kids, those are the ones that you made a huge difference in, because they might not have gone to that school for engineering without you. The whole school within a school thing, I think, is a really cool concept. The idea that you are building a family for these kids that extends beyond your classroom into other subjects is a big deal, and it helps with success. And then celebrating everything about these kids is a big deal. We try to instill in our kids that you are the best of the best on this campus. And we have other programs, we have other academies, but we try to get them to buy in that we're the elite, we're the best of the best, we're Top Gun, okay? Yeah, I'm a nerd for bringing it up. You really want them to believe that. You want them to believe that we're elite, that we are the pinnacle of education in our district. So, and that's a big selling point, and that will really push your kids to go further and work hard for you. So hopefully I gave you some good ideas. Might have given you some bad ideas you might have shook your head at. Sorry if I gave you some of those, but maybe there's a thing or two on there that you saw that you could work with and maybe integrate into your program. If there's any way I can be of help to you, feel free to reach out, especially if you're local. Of course, I'd be glad to help, but anything I can help with, I'll Zoom, FaceTime, whatever. If you need a sounding board, if you're like, hey, I'm running into a lot of no's, what do you think? I did not get a yes the first time. I did not get a yes the second time. It took me 3 tries, and I went with if you knock long enough and loud enough, you're bound to wake somebody up. So I know what it's like. They will tell you no, but I learned some key things in there that gets them more prone to say yes. Let's just put it that way. So hopefully you found some good stuff in here, and keep on doing what you're doing, because we're out there making a pretty big difference in these kids' lives. Thanks so much.